Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Guys, it is wild. Like, I was just leaving my house. I'm going to see, actually, if you guys get a chance to see it, before I continue with Car Confessions, I want to let you know until April 28th, you'll get the chance to see. It's called I'm Possible. Am I saying that right? Omni Circus. A friend of mine who is the ringmaster, Danette Shepherd, is actually the ringmaster, and so I'm going to see her in the show right now. So if you get a chance, the Omni Circus, it's called I'm Possible, I believe. I'll share the information in the show notes. But that's where I'm headed right now to see this show. Really excited to see it, and excited to see her because we haven't seen each other in God knows when. So really excited. Check it out if you get a chance. Yeah, really excited for that. But anyway, I'm hopping on, wanting to check to see how y'all are doing. And then also, for those of us that are in New York City, definitely checking in to see how you're doing. If you are around any of the colleges that are in New York City, listen, there's a lot of feelings, right? Depending on, where you stand and all the things as it relates to the genocide going on in Palestine. But it is really intense here in the city, and a lot of weird things have been happening beyond the protests, which I personally am so proud of the students that are protesting at this time and raising awareness around, organizations like colleges divesting from sending money to Israel to support this genocide. These students are courageous, they are brave, and if I had the wherewithal at this point, I would definitely be out there with them. So sending all my love and prayers to those individuals and to the faculty and staff that are also, fighting this good fight with the kids. It's wild because to be at this point in time, to find that history is just basically repeating itself. If you know anything about Colombia, these same things happened during the Vietnam War. And so this is nothing new to this campus as it relates to students protesting and also being put in compromising positions as it relates to their freedom of speech and being protected on the campus. So I'm just praying a shield of protection around those on campus, whether they be Jewish, Palestinian, Black, white, whatever, humans, right? I'm praying a seal of protection around the humans on that campus, and to also pray for a shift in mindset, right, of those that are managing and leading these campuses, because it's not just Columbia. NYU here is also. Have been protesting as well. I'm pretty sure other smaller campuses here, maybe Fordham. I don't know. I haven't looked into Fordham to see if they're actually protesting as well. But y'all, light and love, sending light and love, and that mindset of justice. It's so important right now because so many unjust things are happening, and we are seeing them unfold through legislation, through just day-to-day operations, and we as a people, we have to stand up. We have to stand up and say enough of all of this toxic behavior, enough of this inhumane conditions that we are living in. It's wild. Like, it's wild that we are in a space and living in a time where we are, one, opening our eyes to so much injustice. And I think as we move through this awakening of seeing the injustices and realizing that they've been happening for so long, I think one is us giving each other grace as it relates to who's awoke. How do you say this? Who's waking up? I can't talk now. Who is waking up to it? And for those who are still in a process of understanding and learning, giving them grace around that. And just doing your best to improve who you are at this time and be your best self. It's so, so important for the human race, period, like full stop. But also, before, I even started really going on talking about everything that's happening at Columbia, I was on one of the bridges here, the Henry Hudson Bridge. It actually leads you in from Riverdale, Bronx to Manhattan. And there was tons and tons of police presence, obviously causing traffic. And which is why I left really early from my house, because I was like, from my window I can see the parkway, which is called the Henry Hudson Parkway, and there was a lot of congestion. And I was like, let me get out early because I just don't want any problems. Furthermore, I need to kind of like figure out what the hell's going on around my house. But yeah, tons of police presence, very weird, like state police, the city police, all gathered on that bridge, and I'm just like, what is going on? So praying for this whole idea around folks being protected, because I don't know what that police presence is about. And if I find out more information, I'll let y'all know. But it's some crazy times to be living in. But at the same time, it's like, what a time to be alive. I don't know if y'all believe in the whole idea around, you were born at a certain time based off, whatever you have been, assigned to by way of God or whatever spiritual things. But I feel like I was born for this time. And to be a voice of, of raising awareness, being that person that is, calling out injustice, and, shaking up what we have thought of as the norm, right? Because the norm is just to be nice, not cause any problems, just kind of toe the line. But we are towing the line and being nice at the cost of lives, at the cost of our livelihood, and the cost of democracy, the cost of just humanity as a whole. And now that we are in a space of really understanding things on a global scale and understanding that we are all connected, it's even more reason for us to raise our voices and to be a part of this movement that is going to propel us into, the next level of humanity and living in peace. Justice has to happen, and as brutal as we are, as brutal as things are, unfolding, we're seeing the different things coming out of the different areas in Palestine, in the Congo, in Sudan, all around the world, all these injustices are taking place. For us to just sit back and act like, oh, that's them over there. No, it's our tax dollars. It's our actual country that is, propelling a lot of this, putting money into it, taking resources from these people and not putting money back into those actual countries to help benefit those particular people, those Black and brown people. It's time, y'all. It is time for us to get up and make our voices heard. Move into action. Do what is right. I don't know. Because I feel like at this point in time, to just sit back and act like, the blinders are on. It's like, guys, no. You can't pretend anymore, right? There's no pretending. And regardless of if you are, on, or you're in this mindset of thinking that what's happening in Palestine is justified or not, you have to see that these are human beings, right? Well, obviously, as I say that, no, they people who do feel like that what is happening there, they don't see the humanity in these people. And I think about growing up, right? I was in middle school when Desert Storm took place, the war over there, and thinking that we were fighting this good fight, and we were writing letters to the troops, and we were doing all this stuff in the name of thinking we were on the right side of justice. And it's like, now seeing that and now realizing that wasn't the case, it's like, wow, giving myself grace, one, because I was a child, and two, we didn't have the education as it related to, you know, all these foreign exchanges as it relates to resources and power and, whatever that looked like back then. But it's basically the same things that are happening now. It's all about the resources. It's all about the money. Where the money is going, that's where a lot of this injustice is taking place. It's wild, y'all. It is wild. It's wild because I was just looking over. I don't know if you guys saw me, if you're actually looking at this, like seeing me visually. I happen to be looking to my left. And as I'm looking to my left, there's a veteran who's homeless asking for money. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, honestly, like, what are we doing as a society as it relates to helping those in our communities, our veterans? Because at the end of the day, we can talk all this talk about how we support the veterans, how we do this, how we do that. But more times than not, I know veterans personally that are struggling, that are looking for ways to support themselves, to gain, better access to healthcare and all these things. And particularly here in New York, you'll see a lot of veterans that are homeless. It's just like, what are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? And I don't know if you can hear, but there's like police coming up as we speak. Like it's intense here in New York right now. But for many people who know me, they know that I am a person that tries to bring light and love and joy and see the good in things. And I feel like, and I've said this, a lot of times, I feel like we're in this pressure cooker, right? It's pressing hard, pressing down. And hopefully on the other side of that is a beautiful diamond. I don't know. I literally don't know. But I feel like we are hopefully moving in a direction where we can start seeing each other as humans and recognizing that exploiting individuals is not the answer. There's nothing beautiful about killing someone for your gain. It just isn't. There's nothing beautiful about that. And you can have temporary success. And, to some people you can say temporary, this has been happening forever, for the longest. But I think with anything, things come to an end. It's not on our time. If you're spiritual, if you're religious, whatever, we are not on God's time, right? Or am I saying that right? Basically, God's timing is not our timing. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, there goes my water bottle. Yikes. And so in time, things will get better. I really feel that. And like I said, it doesn't feel that way, doesn't seem that way. It's a lot of grief and despair many are experiencing. And I'm there too. I was literally just watching a video earlier with a Palestinian mother who her son was killed, and she would not let go of him. And she said, "This is how did she say it? She said, my son is my soul. My son is my soul." And the people are just trying to remove the child from her. And she's like, "No, I can wake him up. I can do that." And as I'm watching that video, obviously tears are streaming down my face. And I'm just thinking, how could anyone see this video, see the intense and like excruciating distress this woman is in, and not understand that hurt, particularly if you are a parent, right? Like, I was thinking, if that was my child, that was my daughter, I honestly don't even know. I don't even know what I would do. And for us to just sit back and like, oh, it's all the way over there and really hate it for those people. Thoughts and prayers. It's like, no, that's not it. We have to start creating change around how we think and feel when it comes to these innocent people, the children, the men, the women, the non-binary people, the disabled people that are there. There was someone I was seeing the other day that was wheelchair bound. I think he was paraplegic. Um, and he was asking for help to, get out of, I can't remember if it was Rafa or where he was. His family, his mother was still with him because, he needs, you know, basically around the clock care. But just asking for help to get out, because financially they're not in a place to do that, just so he can survive and live. These are people, right? It's not like these little speckles of caricatures, right? That we see on TV. These are actual people. And I think there's another thing too for me that is just so hard for me to process is that people in the West, here in America, in wherever else that are quote unquote safe, don't see the humanity, don't see the need for assistance and help. Like, it is wild to me. Like, it is so wild that some people really don't see this as an issue. And I don't know, like, I know there are some people who are, right? But guys, when are we going to actually stand up to this government? And trust me, I don't have all the ins and outs of how we do that. This is just me processing. But everything we have been taught, for the most part, about this country has been a sham. And slowly but surely, things are unfolding. And we're seeing things come to light that many of us are just devastated by, because it's like, I would have never imagined this is my country. And this is what we do to people, right? Like, and this is what we're basically doing to our own citizens as well, right? Like, basic health care, housing needs, all these things, we can't afford it. But somehow we have billions and billions, and I mean billions of dollars to just throw at large to these other countries, to Israel, to Ukraine, to Taiwan. And meanwhile, we're just asking to just have basic health care, to have affordable education, affordable housing, just to be able to live, affordable food, right? And you know what's funny? It's like, as I'm thinking about that, I, at one point, was brainwashed into that thinking those things weren't basically a human right. I know that sounds harsh, but at the end of the day, those of us who are fighting that, saying, oh, well, you should just get some insurance and you need a job, but that's basically what we're saying. And it's heartbreaking to say that that's where my mind was at one point. But I literally thought, hey, if you can't get your health care needs taken care of, it's because you aren't doing all the right things. You're not, you know, basically living up to the American dream. And so because of that, this is where you stand. Sorry for you, right? It's really hard to say that and know that that's where I was at one point in my life. But it's true. It is true. But like, I think many people the hope is that we are waking up and realizing that a lot of countries don't have to deal with this kind of crap. Like, their country affords them these things. And yes, do they pay a lot of taxes? They pay about as much as we do. And they have all these things. I don't know. I mean, I feel like at this point, what are we doing? What are we doing, y'all? And I know some of us are doing all that we can. And I know there's hope around the corner, but in the midst of it, sometimes it's just, you feel like the wind is just completely coming just out of the sails and you have no control and oof, right? I don't know, y'all. I'm doing my best by using my platform to raise awareness. I'm doing my best to work on myself as an individual to be my best self and constantly evaluate where I stand as a human in this world. Am I causing more harm? And I think I said this in, um, a car confession before. It's like, my hope is to always be a blessing and not a burden. Um, I wanna be that person that provides a blessing to someone in need. I want to be that person that honors truth and values truth. And truth is not always easy. It's not always roses. It's not always this good feeling. And it's nice to have good feelings. Trust me. I'm a Taurus, right? And what people know about Tauruses is that we like to eat, we like to be comfortable, we like to feel good. We just like chilling. Like, we don't want a lot of problems. We just want to keep it simple, the least amount of drama as possible, please and thank you, and just keep it pushing. Um, but sometimes being uncomfortable is what is needed, what is necessary. And for those that feel uncomfortable with these conversations, I challenge you to really step outside of yourself and whatever things that are making you feel uncomfortable and understand that your sense of being uncomfortable is a drop in the bucket as it relates to those who are completely dealing with unsafe and hazardous and life-threatening situations. And a lot of that's done in our name, you know? I am ready to be, you know, that person that's willing to go there and challenge myself and those around me on how we move forward as humans in this world. Because the constant conquer at any cost, it's getting old. And we're not doing anything but ruining, like, we're straight up ruining the land, the earth, the things that we're doing, and the emissions that we are throwing out into the environment are causing so much harm. Like, people aren't thinking about that, or maybe they are and just don't care. I don't know. But there's so many things involved, in which explains why we are all so connected. Everything from the people to the animals to the environment. We are all one. We are all connected. There's nothing greater than the other. This whole hierarchy, it's falling apart. And I'm actually really happy about that. Because we need to see each other as equal and provide equitable opportunities for all. Yeah. Guys, I made it down to Midtown. I got to find parking now, which is always a beast, to say the least. Kind of rhymed. But yeah, guys, let's do our best to stay as safe as possible, to raise our voices for justice, and to work on ourselves to be our best selves, so we can then be an example for someone else, for them to say, hey, I like what they're doing. I want to get on that bandwagon of creating change. So important. Work on yourself. Be your best self. Be the light that many of us need in this world, because it's getting pretty dim, y'all. But at the same time, I know it sounds contradictory, but I do see there is a light. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to keep fighting the good fight, y'all. All right, y'all, let me actually focus and find some parking, because down here it is a beast. And I'm good at parking, finding parking, which free parking. People always question, like, how do you find this parking? Listen, it is what it is. But yeah, I love y'all. And if I find out what's happening with that bridge, I'll let y'all know next week. If you get a chance to see the Omni Circus, is it Omnia Circus? I'm totally butchering the name. Please forgive me. I'll put the information in the show notes. But I'm Possible is the name of the actual circus presentation they're offering. Really excited to see that. And I look forward to chatting with y'all soon. Love y'all, and let's just keep on keeping on. Have a good one.